Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the midweek Flagler weather update, and we will be starting a little briefing here right now. We're looking at satellite imagery. A few things going on here. Thunderstorms kind of stayed largely in the inland locations. But you notice though that storms are kind of going different directions. You got one here going south. You got one here kind of going off to the northeast, and a lot of that's due to some light stirring flow. Now, there's some activity well offshore, and it's been part of an area that the National Hurricane Center has been watching. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. So it's been rather active the last several days. So the storms that we had last night, we had some locations coming in over 2 inches of rain associated with the thunderstorm activity that occurred last night. And you can get those kind of storms anytime here during the rainy season in Florida. So let's go ahead and talk about the tropics right now. And we have three things going on out there. So the closest system, this was the one that was kind of off our coast. It's kind of moved off to the northeast now. And the chances of it developing have decreased. They had it about a 40% chance of developing. Now it's a low chance or 30% chance of developing. And this is a very weak low pressure system that is now a few hundred miles off the coast of the southeastern United States. This is right where it is now, where it has that window of possible development is up here. So it's moving away from us. So this one's not going to be a problem for us at all. We have Dexter. Let's take a look where Dexter's going, and Dexter is going away. And it could, now right when you see, so what do all these different colors mean is a good time to talk about that. So when it's the solid black with a white letter inside it, it's a tropical system. But it's going to translate to a non-tropical system, like a regular windstorm, as it moves out over the cooler water. And it could actually reach hurricane strength. Though it's not technically a hurricane, it could be a very strong windstorm as it moves further off to the east. And it looks like it's going to have an opportunity to weaken as it moves further off to the east. They had a storm similar to this move into the UK just not too long ago and caused some problems in Scotland and places like that. So one of the things I always like to look at when you're looking at tropical cyclones is the wind risk. And this is a good map to, don't worry about the models and all that stuff and everything because they change every 6 hours. So this tells us what are the chances of sustained tropical storm force winds in any given location. So if you're in this area right here, it is a very likely chance in the next 7 days that you'll see sustained winds over 39 miles per hour. And of course, the lighter the colors get, the lesser chance that is. So as we go through the season, we get anything out there that's developing or anything out there that has developed, start looking for this map. And this is a good one to look at for determining where the highest risk of strongest winds are. So taking a look at the hurricane wind risk, it's very minimal out here in the middle Atlantic. So again, there's different. They have the one for hurricane wind speed, 57 mile per hour winds. And that is where you start getting damaged when you start getting winds that strong. And then winds over 39 miles per hour. So, but that's what's going on with Dexter out there. Let's go ahead and take a look back. Let's back up and get back to our tropics. So the other system here that is of interest right now is it's currently over the mid-tropical Atlantic. It's just a tropical wave. What's a tropical wave? It's kind of just a weak disturbance. And as it moves off to the west-northwest here, it's going to get into a better environment to develop. So somewhere in this orange area here, there's a 60% chance that this system is going to try to get its act together. And at least for us, that is basically no issues here in Flagler County. The guidance generally takes this off to the north and west, and that's typically where these systems go. They start recurving out here. They recurve back out to sea and are not a problem. They are a problem for ships and aircraft, but not a problem for folks here in Florida. So this is everything going on in the tropics right now for the next 7 days. But let's go further into the future. How are things looking as we go into August? So August 13th through August 19th, we do have two areas that the National Hurricane Center will be watching. This area out here, remember now, these aren't systems. This is areas of projected development, to make sure folks understand. So we have an area out here near the Cape Verde Islands. That is a very minimal chance, about 20% chance of developing. Then we got a little bit better chances of something getting organized somewhere here somewhere in the window between 13 August and 19th August. So somewhere in the middle of August, there is opportunity for something to try to develop right in here. And where it goes is there's no way to know where that's going to go at this point in the game, if anything does develop out of that. So that means that there's about a 40% chance of development. Means it's a 60% chance that nothing will come of this. But again, these are not active systems right now. These are just areas that the long-range forecast models are signaling that something may try to get spun up in any of these locations. Going further into the future, 20th August to 26th August, taking us right to the end of the month, we do see a 20% chance of something developing out here in the mid-tropical Atlantic. Again, these are nothing to really worry about any one of these, because this is we're getting into the busier part of the hurricane season, and you're going to see more things like this. So it doesn't mean that something's coming or something's going to develop. So let's take a look at some of our local concerns here in Flagler County. One of the things is, due to a lot of tropical moisture and a disturbance, that we're going to see increased chances of heavy rain. And looking at numbers here, overall, to be honest, 1.5 to 2 inches of rain for us over the course of the next 5 days is really not a big deal. So we had 2 inches of rain yesterday, so we're already at that. And now if you get that 2 inches of rain in a very short period of time, you can have some problems with that. But that drains off pretty quickly. So we're not talking about anything really significant. But things look to be a little bit unsettled. And again, we just talked about the tropics there. There's no concerns for us right now here in Flagler County. Keep in mind the tropics are dynamic, so it's always a good idea to stay informed what's going on out there. So taking a look at our local weather now, and we do have this front that is still stalled to the north of us. And this front here is going to linger as we go through the next several days. It's still there. And it may actually try to push through here by Friday, and that's going to change the wind flow, becoming more onshore, and that may actually change the weather pattern a little bit, where we see chances of rain in the morning, and then those rain chances go inland in the afternoons. So let's take a look at our details now. So what are we looking at as far as rain chances here in Flagler County? Now for tonight, there's still the chance, it's very minimal, about 30% chance along the coast, 34% along the coast, and about 29% inland. So tomorrow, pretty high rain chances all the way around, about a 70% chance countywide. Tomorrow night, looks like about a 50% chance coastal areas. And again, that could be the flow starting to change, and it could also be the sea breeze front colliding too, because we're not expecting that wind pattern change to occur until we get to Friday or so. But even Friday, there's 60% chance Friday night, but during the day, about a 90% chance on Friday during the course of the day. It does not mean it's going to be a washout. It just means that 90% chance rain means that sometime in the course of 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening on Friday that you are going to see a rain event. It could only last an hour and then it's gone, or it could be off and on. But those are pretty high rain chances. And as we get into Saturday, it looks like if you have outdoor plans on this weekend, just make sure you have a plan B. Looks like showers are going to be a thing, maybe some thunderstorms, heavy rain possible, as we just saw. And as we get into Saturday night, even rain chances holding about 60%. Notice more along the coastal areas, because if that flow does indeed start to come on shore, we could see showers and storms that develop over the ocean and move ashore during those overnight hours. Now, as we go into Sunday, still pretty high rain chances. And it's kind of the same deal Sunday night. Rain chances actually decrease a little bit. As we get into Monday, those rain chances start to slowly decrease down into the 70% chance. Minimal chances Monday night. And then as we get into Tuesday, we see rain chances starting to come down further. So we're looking at those rain chances pretty high going to the weekend, but then slacking off a little bit. So how much rain are we going to get? Let's look at the 7-day total here. So 2 to 3 inches in the inland locations, generally west of Bunnell. Again, 2 to 3 inches of rain over 7 days is not that big of a deal. So don't let this map kind of freak you out. Now, if you get 3 inches of rain in 20 minutes, then yes, you will have some problems, but they will gradually drain off. You notice the higher rainfall amounts in inland locations. So let's go and talk about temperatures now and how are things looking with that. And we're looking at lows tonight, generally in the mid 70s, like it's been. And then tomorrow, highs generally in the 90s, lower 90s, mid 80s beaches. And as we go into tomorrow night, lows 75 to near 80. And then as we go further on, Friday, high right near 90 or so for most of us. And as we get into Saturday, it looks like high near 90 again, 85 beaches. And then as we get into Sunday, about the same, cooler at the beaches, and that tells me there's probably an onshore flow. And that's what's expected, is kind of a southeast flow to start taking shape. Looking at those low temperatures again over the weekend, near 80 at the beaches because the ocean temperature is warm and about mid-70s inland. Now, those nighttime temperatures don't really change through the week. So I look at those nighttime temperatures as we go into Wednesday morning, 80 at the beaches, mid-70s inland. And as we look at like the high temperatures, as we get into next week now, let's look at Monday. We're starting to come back up with those high temperatures. Looks like lower 90s, maybe approaching the mid-90s in some locations inland. That's on Monday. But we get into Tuesday, now we're getting into the mid-90s. So there are some signals that the hotter temperatures may be returning. Let's take a look at the heat index. Now, heat index numbers are important because that's what your body, it's what the air temperature actually feels like. And that's how your body's going to respond. So tomorrow, about 100, 107 for largely across the area. And then it actually comes down a little bit on Friday. And then Saturday, 105 max, maybe 95 at the beaches. And then we stay about 105, 108. But as we start getting into next week, getting into Tuesday, now we're getting back up to 110 degrees for your maximum heat indexes. So again, signals that things are going to be heating up as we go into next week. It may be rain will not be as plentiful, and we will see higher temperatures and higher heat indexes. So let's take a look also just at wind real quick, how wind's looking, and we're going to take a look at a wind gust. And we're not looking at anything super serious here. Max gust through the week, and just stopping on Sunday for an example, 10 to 16 miles an hour. So nothing really there to worry about. So let's take a look at how things look going further into the future. So taking a look at our temperatures now. This takes us through August 16th here, and we're looking at above normal temperatures expected, and we're looking at precipitation. Equal chances of above or below normal precipitation. And let's go further into the future here. Going into, this takes us to August 20th now. Let's zoom in on our home area here. And we're looking at still good chances of above normal temperatures, almost 70%. And looks like just a little bit better than even odds of above normal precipitation. So that's how that stands. And looking further ahead here, going through as we go further into the month here, going to August outlook. Again, we're looking at generally trending above normal temperatures here and above, precipitation a little bit above normal as well. So let's talk about the beaches real quick before we wrap up. UV index is extreme even with the clouds, so make sure you are definitely putting on that sun protection if you're going to be outside for any length of time. Ocean temperature, 80 to 85 degrees. Surf running maybe 2 to 3 feet. If anything spins up in the Atlantic, the surf might come up in the days ahead. But that's kind of like what we're looking at right now, and a low risk of rip currents. So remember, though, rip currents, even if there's a low risk, they could still be out there. So that's going to wrap it up. We appreciate everyone taking time to tune in with us. And if you've missed it, just tuning in, you can rewind and rewatch. And we will be putting our YouTube link up as well. Everybody have a great evening.